Hello everyone, in this video we'll have a look at how to use vManage REST APIs to retrieve the firewall inspect counter values, and then we'll also have a look at how to store these retrieved values in a time series database like InfluxDB and plot it on Grafana dashboard for visualization. In order to try this code on your workstation, you can start off with cloning my GitHub repository and installing Grafana and InfluxDB on your workstation. Let's have a look at the resource URL that we are using to retrieve the firewall statistics. It starts off with vManage IP address and port number, and the resource component which specifies that we are interested to retrieve the firewall counters from the vManage. Here are the three simple steps in order to retrieve the values from the vManage. We need to do the login and authentication to the vManage. Once the authentication is successful, we get a cookie which is used in further REST API calls. Then build a query which specifies how to retrieve the firewall counters from the vManage, then perform a post operation by sending this query in a payload. Let's have a look at the sample JSON payload which specifies a query. For example, if we would like to retrieve the firewall counter values for the last 24 hours, then here is the JSON payload that we need to send to the vManage. We have a property which specifies that we are interested to get the firewall inspect counter values. If you need to know the drop counter values, then this property would be firewall total drop count. Then we have an interval value which is specified as 30 minutes, which means we get the samples with 30 minutes interval. And then we have an operator called last NRs, to which we are passing a value of 24 so that we get the values for the last 24 hours. Once we send this payload using a post operation, then vManage returns the data in this below format. It contains an entry time and then the firewall inspect counter value at that particular instance. Before we run the Python script, we need to set up the InfluxDB so that we can store the retrieved values in that database. Let's have a look at how to set up the InfluxDB. Connect to Influx database using command influx. We can run a command show databases to see what are the existing databases that are there. Right now there are no databases, so let's go ahead and create a database called firewall_inspect. Using the command create database firewall_inspect. Let's run command show databases to see if this database has been created or not. Now we see a new database firewall_inspect has been created. Exit from the influx command prompt. Now run the Python script firewall statistics _API.py. So this Python script first does an authentication part to get authenticated with a vManage instance, then sends the query payload that we have seen previously to retrieve the samples with 30 minutes interval for the last 24 hours, then uses a Python package InfluxDB client to write these values into the database firewall_inspect, which we have created. Once I run the script, we can see that we have written 49 sample points to the Influx database. Now let's go to the Grafana dashboard and add the data source, and let's visualize the data that we have written in the InfluxDB. Click on Add Data Source and select InfluxDB. In this workstation, the InfluxDB is running on port 8086, so I select that here, and it's using a basic authentication. We provide the username password for it, and we specify the database is firewall_inspect, the database that we have created, and we have stored the values in it. We run the save and test option to make sure that Grafana can reach the firewall_inspect database. Once we add the InfluxDB data source, let's go back to home screen to create a new dashboard to visualize these values. Click on New Dashboard and click on Add Query. Select the measurement as firewall inspect count and group these values linearly. Then query it for last 2 days. We see now a firewall inspect count values plot on the Grafana dashboard. Let's go back to vManage to see how it looks on a vManage security dashboard. On the vManage security dashboard, we see a similar graph. Let's also see what is the value at particular instance and compare that with the value on the Grafana dashboard. On 9th July at 5:30, we see the value to be 5711. Let's go back to Grafana dashboard. On 5:30, at 5:30, we see on value to be 5711. With that, we come to the end of this demo. We also have a DevNet Learning Labs, which provides step-by-step instructions on how to do this on your workstation. Thank you so much for watching this video.